Hello, sports fans. Larry Eater here. Conversations with Larry, where I get kind of amped up on 2 cups of Trader Joe's Cup of Joe and spout off for 5 to 7 minutes or until Mike Deering puts the taser on me. Okay, so what are we talking about today? At the end of April, besides snow in Wisconsin, the other thing that you can rely on is the Drake relays and the Penn relays. Drake relays are at Drake University in Des Moines, Iowa. And that meet has been a sellout for, I think, 38 years. And over the last several years, with thanks to some great sponsors, they have been bringing in Olympic class fields. And the weather is still spring in Iowa, but I'll tell you, it rocks. And then at Penn has been around for 1,000 years. It's at in lovely Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, and it's relay, baby. And the folks at On Running are sponsoring it this year, and they're doing a big 4x1 mile relay, 4x1,500, I believe, and it's going to be pretty exciting. On has been doing some really fun things, and with their On Athletic Club and with the great athletes they've got there, they're really showcasing them in the distance events. But people love the relays at Penn, and they love the relays at Drake. And these events are part of our history too. One of the things that I was talking with Mike Deering, our production manager and creative director for the Shoe Addicts, and Mike was cautioning me about not putting historical perspective on a lot of the events. We talk about times all the time, and we do it a lot. And a 10-second guy is much faster than the 10-3 and all that kind of a thing. But put it in proper perspective. Yesterday, when we were interviewing Chris Turner from World Athletics, he was talking about the virtual museum that World Athletics has, and talking about the jersey from Jesse Owens when he set 4 to 6 world records, depending on how you look at it, at Ohio State in an afternoon in May of 1935, the year before the Olympics. And you take a guy like Jesse Owens, and of course, his times would be different now. There's different equipment, there's different training, all those kinds of things. But you can compare the athleticism. And those are the things that are important. And I think before we talk about how fast people are now, we also need to know about the history and how things came through over the last, especially the last 150 years. I mean, the European circuit that we love and that people dream about going to every year. And the reason why U.S. meet directors are trying to put meets on during the summer here is to give American athletes a chance to experience something similar. It began in Scandinavia in the 1960s with Ron Clark, the great Australian runner, who would run 30 to 40 times during the summer, all over Scandinavia in those cool evenings from 2 miles to 10,000 meters. And in fact, the night that he broke the 10,000 meter world record, first time under 28 minutes by any man, he ran 27:39.8, I believe. The next day, he had to come back and run a 3,000 meters. The only way the meet director allowed the 10,000 one night, and he had to come back and get the butt kicked out of him over 3,000 meters. And this was not on an artificial track. So it just kind of tells you building fields, building an audience takes a long time. And Ron Clark, over the 10 years that he was competing in Europe, from the early 1960s to the early 1970s, really was one of the major reasons why so many of those meets in Finland, Norway, Sweden developed and had strong crowds. The athletes putting their time into it, the managers putting their time into it, all that came into play. And Drake relays and Penn relays are chances for you to see high school athletes, college athletes, and elite athletes compete. And it's early in the season, so it's a lot of relay based events. and they will be a blast. This year, they're both going to be streaming, we understand. We'll make sure we have everything up on RunBlogRun for you so you know what the schedules are. But it should be a lot of fun. And just remember, when you watch the Penn relays, when you watch the Drake relays, you're seeing history. Who's going to be the next star? What star will end their careers at Penn or Drake? All that's fun kind of stuff to watch and see who the new ones are. And, a lot of times you can just turn off the times and watch the races. That's the fun stuff. Our sport is about competition. Sometimes we get too obsessed with times. It's all about the competition. What I like when I watch Mondo Duplantis is the excitement that he exhibits when he's vaulting, when he clears a height. He absolutely loves it. And it's communicated to the fans. In a great relay or a great hurdle race, great sprint race, the athletes totally get into it. When someone scores a big PB, it's like you're sharing that with them. Those are the things that we see in track and field. And this is the 2022 season. So who are going to be the stars that we're going to see at Drake and Penn that we'll also see in Eugene this summer as well? You will have to watch, dear friends. Okay. Larry Eater, Conversations with Larry. This was about the Penn and Drake relays, why we love relays. Run, jump, and throw. Tell someone you love them today, and stay safe.